should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Barry G. Fowler, EA, brings you Tax Talk for You right here on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. As an enrolled agent and a national leader in tax resolution, as well as trucker, bookkeeping, and tax planning with over 30 years of experience, Barry will break down taxes, bookkeeping, tax planning, and tax relief for individuals and businesses just like you. So let's have some Tax Talk for You with your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome. Good morning. It's another great day. We had a great weekend out at the Fowler Family Ranch. Yes, we do run a ranch here in Texas, and we have a lot of fun with it. People always ask me, how busy do you stay? Well, we stay busy all the time. We're guiding people in taxes. We're helping people through tax problems. We're doing bookkeeping and taxes and tax planning right now for truckers and other businesses that we deal with. And so it makes a great busy week for us, and also busy weekends. And, this weekend we got to go out and pick up a couple piglets that we're going to be raising and putting into the freezer at some point. But, we come here together today to talk about taxes. We talk about, your tax problems, how to save money on taxes, what the tax code means, how to use it to your advantage. Today, we talk about what the IRS calls their dirty dozen of tax schemes. It's the list of top 12. We're going to go through as many of those as we can, but sometimes it's just the everyday activities that you and I go through, such as, reading email, answering a phone call, and it could put you at a very big risk of a tax scam, identity theft, phone scams, and tax return preparer fraud, just few of the ways that you could be affected. And, we want to make you aware of it. We want to keep you knowing the different scams that are out there. And these are like some of the top ones that go out there. And one of the big ones that we see is scammers talking about how to save money on taxes. And you see these tax avoidance schemes, on Facebook and other social media out there. And just because it's there doesn't make it right. Just what you see on TikTok or what you see on, Facebook doesn't make it a correct solution for you to save money on taxes. What it does is sometimes it opens the door for major problems, illegal schemes, people taking money from you to say, hey, invest in this because it's going to give you these write-offs. And what it's really going to do is they're going to steal your money or take your money. These 12 scams or schemes, as you might want to call it, it's putting you at risk, putting your money at risk, putting your livelihood at risk, putting your data at risk. And, some of them are not, legal in any way, shape, or form. So bogus tax avoidance strategies, including something like a conservation easement, where they're saying, hey, we can put a conservation restriction on your land or your property, and you'll be able to get a huge write-off as a charitable contribution or deduction. The IRS looks at these things when they see them, and then, you may be in a very abusive arrangement. And now the IRS says, no, this is fraud, and you end up paying the penalty and paying the price. They're not going to pay the price. You're going to pay the price. So you really need to, watch out for things like that become, issues for you and can become issues. And also put it to where you've committed fraud on your tax return. And now you're not just talking penalties for underpayment of taxes, but you're also including the fraud penalty on there as well, which becomes even more cost prohibitive for you. Some of the other tax schemes that, we look at, high income, filers may be at risk from improper art donations or charitable remainder annuity trust and monetized, sales agreement. If you're giving art or maybe your vehicle or something away to charity, you've got to make sure you're doing it right and doing it to a charity that is a reputable charity. Some of these promoters are going to encourage you to buy various types of art at a discounted price, may include additional services to a promoter or storage or shipping, arranging the appraisal and the donation of the art. The promoter then is going to promise to you that the art is worth significantly more than the purchase price. These are schemes that are, designed just to encourage you to purchase the art at a very high cost and donate it, and you get the deduction of the inflated market value, which is going to be substantially more than what you paid for it. This is going to become a problem. Just because they're going through and promoting this, it does not make this right for you. The IRS has its own team of professionally trained appraisers in art, and they're going to provide assistance and advice to taxpayers on the valuation questions in connection with personal property and works of art. So you can reach out to the IRS and talk to them about the appraisals of that art. Creativity in art, it's a great thing, but aggressive use of art donation deductions can really be a bad thing for you. And it's going to, put you in a very bad light or get you some major problems out there. These charitable remainder trusts are irrevocable trusts that lets you donate assets to a charity and draw annual income for the life or for a specific period of time. The IRS will look at these charitable remainder trusts to ensure you're correctly reporting trust income and distributions to beneficiaries. You got to file the correct tax documents and follow certain laws and rules for the charitable remainder trusts. Unfortunately, these trusts can be misused to eliminate capital gains. What they basically do, they take appreciated property that is transferred to the charitable remainder trust, and the taxpayer, you're going to incorrectly claim the transfer of the appreciated assets to the charitable remainder trust, which gives those assets a stepped up basis to fair market value as if they've been sold to the trust. Then the charitable remainder trust sells the property but does not recognize the gain due to the claim stepped up basis. The beneficiary, you're then going to report as income only a small portion of the annuity received from the gains. Through misapplication of these laws, the charitable remainder trust, the beneficiary treats the remaining payments as excluded portion representing return on investment, for which no tax is due. You can see it's going to create some inaccurate results and misapplying the rules, and going to put you into some major problems with the charitable remainder trust. So you want to be absolutely aware of those things when you're looking at ways to save money on taxes. Now, charitable remainder trusts are usually used by the wealthy, and you usually have a attorney working with you, and hopefully it's an attorney that you know or have used for years that can help you put this together and help you save money on taxes, but doing it the correct way. So, make sure you're dotting your I's, you're crossing your T's, and you're working with reputable people in the tax business and have a good reputation. And if it's not somebody you've known and worked with on your taxes, make sure it comes from somebody that is reputable and is referred to you. We tell you to watch out what you find online, what you find through Facebook or other social media platforms out there, because you never know what you're going to run into. Now, some of the things that we talk about in trying to save you money and recognizing schemes and scams. In the next segment, what we're going to do is start out talking about tax scam, warning signs, just giving you some of the warning signs out there, and then how to also know that it's the IRS. Now, one thing, we're going to do something really cool here. We got these great mugs here. If you go to taxtalk4u.com and hit the subscribe, the first person, let's do 2 or 3. First 3 people that subscribe here in this segment, we're going to send you out a Tax Talk for You mug. We love these things. We gave them out at the Truck to Success show, and we're going to give out some more today. We got a few left on hand. We'll do that, as you subscribe. But right after this break, again, we're going to talk about, warning signs. How do we know that it's the IRS? And we'll be right back after this.
We have only scratched the surface of today's show. Please stand by, as Barry G. Fowler will be right back with Tax Talk for You. If you owe the IRS or are going through an IRS audit, don't go at it alone. Call Taxation Solutions Tax Relief at 888-930-1016. We are your solution for IRS debts, audits, back taxes, garnishments, liens, and levies. Whether you're an individual or business, you need a solution and a strong, aggressive tax resolution. Don't let the IRS walk all over you. Stop the IRS now. Call 888-930-1016 or go to taxationsolutions.net now for a free, no obligation consultation. Let's get back to Tax Talk for You with more Tax Talk. Once again, here's your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome back. Hey, first off, I want to say, hey, Joey, you were quick getting in and subscribing at Tax Talk for You. Going to get one of these nice little mugs that sent out to you here shortly. We'll make sure we got your address and get it out. If you haven't subscribed yet, get in and subscribe. We'll do some drawings on some other people that get them, but we're going to do the first 3 are definitely getting them, and then we'll keep getting more out from there. But we're talking about tax scams, and one, how do you know it's the IRS when you're starting to deal with somebody? And one of the things is sometimes people call you identifying themselves and say they're IRS, and you don't really understand what they're saying. They don't necessarily say Internal Revenue Service. They say something, some other abbreviation, Internal Revenue, whatever. But things to watch out for. Is it going to give you a big payday? If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If it, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's a duck. Okay. All you got to say about it. So that bad advice you may be getting, from somebody, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. Make demands or threats. Impersonators want you to pay now or else. They even threaten arrest or deportation, or, hey, the police are on their way, and if you don't go down to the local store and get them a iTunes card or whatever it may be, to pay them. The IRS isn't going to do that. The IRS is going to send you to irs.gov/payments, make a payment or set you up on a payment plan. But they're not going to do that. And if you're not sure, pick up the phone, hang up the phone, and then pick it up and call the IRS back. That's one of the simplest ways of making sure that whoever you're dealing with is from the IRS, is just to hang up the phone and then call the IRS directly and deal with that there. Now, if you don't owe the IRS money, hang up because you know it's a scam anyway. Or they send you to website links and they're misspelled or they're odd. They're going to take you to a malicious site instead of irs.gov. And these purse reiners aren't going to let you question or appeal the amount you tax you owe. You do have taxpayer rights when dealing with the IRS. So how do you know it's the IRS besides hanging up the phone and picking up and calling the IRS back directly? The IRS isn't going to email you unless it's with your permission. Mail, the IRS does send mail, and you got to watch out. There's solicitations that come out that look very close to the IRS, and there's people in the industry of tax relief that send these things out, and it's maybe a letter of notice for IRS liens or levies, and it should say advertisement on it. It should say that this is not from the IRS and this is a solicitation, but you will know that when it does come directly from the IRS. But some of these people are very good at what they do, and they do run these letters with asking you to call for tax relief. But others will send them out saying, hey, look, you owe, and it's a scam. So you just got to be very careful. Social media, you can follow irs.gov, and, the IRS isn't going to, come to you through social media for collections. They just don't do that. So you can talk to us here as your go-to. Pick up the phone and call us at 888-930-1016. And, we can talk about it. Do you have an IRS issue? Do you have IRS problems? And we can be the go-between if you do have a tax problem between us and the IRS and help put a solution together in place. Text messages. Again, the IRS only texts you with permission. Now, they do use ID Me and stuff like that when you're logging into the IRS, but you've got to sign up for the service and go through and do it. I have not had an IRS agent ever text me on our phones or the cell phones. They may fax, they may use our secure mailbox through IRS, but they're not going to, they have not been to the place where they can text me or have text me. Website, you've got to remember, if you're dealing with the IRS, the official website is irs.gov. Phone calls. Typically the IRS doesn't call. Now, if you're working with a revenue officer or working through a revenue agent on an audit, they may be calling you, but you've already had communications with them. They do have collection companies that work for the IRS and do it. But again, if you don't think you have a tax debt, pick up the phone and call the IRS directly. Even if you do, pick up the phone and call the IRS directly if you want to deal with it that way. But if you have a tax problem, pick up the phone and call Taxation Solutions Tax Relief and get somebody that steps in your shoes and can work on this problem in between, so you don't have to deal with the IRS. And that's the beauty of using a company like Taxation Solutions Tax Relief, is you don't have to deal with the IRS. Faxes. The IRS will send faxes out to verify employment or request reported income or withholdings. But again, they got to be in communication with you. And take a look at what is, sending it out there. In-person visits. Yes, the IRS does in-person visits. But again, they're going to notify you by mail first before they're going to visit your home or your business. And usually it is a very critical situation before the IRS is going to come out and visit you at your business or at your home, meaning you've pretty much ignored them, or you've been in communication and you've ignored getting information out to them and they've requested it. Maybe they've now come to the point of subpoenaing it and you've not followed through on any of your commitments. So, the IRS will send that out to make sure that, hey, we've got your attention, and we'll show up at your place of business. Now, the beautiful part is if you hire Taxation Solutions Tax Relief, somebody shows up at your door, you hand them our business card and said, hey, you just hired us. And these guys, please call them first. And then they get on the phone with us and we get them to go away and we start taking care of business for you, or we stop that before it gets to that point, so that you don't have to deal with the IRS and we can on your behalf. Now, I'm talking about, the dirty dozen, we talk about a lot of different things that happens within the industry. And, we talk about how the IRS deals with social media. And social media is not always your friend. You've got friends on there, but you see all these ads. Now, if your social media is kind of like my social media, I seem to get ads all the time. Now, ours might be farm and ranch ads on selling cattle or selling pigs or chickens, or, we get into a lot of people pushing for tax things. And, we see it all the time, on social media, the earned income credits or the ERC, which they're promoting their services to get you a ton of money back. Now, we've had these people come out and say, hey, with the COVID credits and employer credits that are out there, we can get those for you. Matter of fact, they've reached out to my company and said, yes, you guys qualify. Well, I know I don't qualify. I've run the numbers on it. And if you got a tax preparer or you got a bookkeeping company and they do your taxes, have them run the numbers. They should be able to tell whether you can apply for that ERC out there for the employer retention credit. And you may not qualify. We've seen it happen for many of the companies that, we've dealt with, because they think they can qualify and get as much money as possible. They prey on the fact that you need money and you're going to get it. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it true. And guess who's at fault? We're going to tell you who's at fault shortly, right after this break.
We have only scratched the surface of today's show. Please stand by, as Barry G. Fowler will be right back with Tax Talk for you. As an owner-operator, you already spend too much time away from your family. Trucker Tax Tools handles all your bookkeeping and taxes, no matter what level trucker you are. Life on the road can be taxing, but that doesn't mean that your wallet or time with your family should suffer. Trucker Tax Tools makes your life run smoothly. Go to truckertaxtools.com for a free guide that will give you the tools to never worry about your taxes again. Call Trucker Tax Tools at 877-966-2477 or go to truckertaxtools.com now and let the experts keep you trucking. Let's get back to Tax Talk for you with more Tax Talk. Once again, here's your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome back. I want to say thanks to George and Mary, both subscribed at Trucker Tax Talk for You. We also have Brad out there. He's one of our trucking friends. He's out there in North Carolina, he said, and running his truck. Hey, thanks for what you do and being out there. I also understand that you're a veteran, so thank you for your service here to our great country. We were talking right before the break. Who's responsible? You saw that great ad for the employee retention credits out there, and you hired them, you paid them their 25 or 30% of what you're getting back from the IRS. And you're really happy because you got, $50,000, $60,000 back, from the IRS based on this ERC. And you paid them, their, 20,000 or so that, they were owed. And now you're a couple years since you've done it, and the IRS is coming back and saying, hey, you didn't qualify. Who's responsible? Guess what? That engagement letter you signed, they had no responsibility whatsoever if they were wrong. None. Did you read what you signed? Hey, at the Truck to Success Show, we talk all the time to truckers getting out as an owner-operator, being in business for yourself, whether you're self-employed, running a business. You should be reading everything you sign. You should be reading every agreement that you sign, including your engagement letters when you hire a tax professional to do something, whether it's simple as your taxes or as complicated as the employee retention credit. You've got to read that, because at the end of the day, you're responsible. Even when you sign your taxes, you sign and take responsibility for those taxes. And at the end of the day, when the IRS comes back and audits you, they're holding you responsible for the fraud that they help you commit. See, they don't necessarily go in and do all the analysis that needs to be done to see if you qualify, because they tell you, hey, you signed here and said you were qualified. See, I've seen it through a few of our clients who came to us to ask us to do it. And I said, you don't qualify. They said, this company says I do. Well, don't do it. And they did it anyway. And the IRS has come back and held them 100% responsible and liable for what they signed with the IRS. And now they owe the money back. They don't get to get the money back from the company that they use. Matter of fact, they can't even find the company that they use, because some of them have gone out of business. They have done what they needed to do to get the money from you, got rich quick, and got out. See, those things happen. Sometimes if it sounds too good to be true, it is. Talk to somebody. Have them show you. If you hire a company like that, have them show you how you qualify. Now, speaking of Dirty Dozen, IRS urges taxpayers not to fall prey to untrustworthy tax preparers or ghost preparers that can disappear with your cash and your information. Know who you're dealing with. See, we have a great reputation, not only at Taxation Solutions Tax Relief and dealing with tax relief. We are A+ rated at the BBB, but our sister company, Trucker Tax Tools, who deals with truckers all across the country, we come out to the truck shows. We identify who we are. We are great members of OOIDA, which is Owner Operators Independent Drivers Association. I speak at the Truck to Success seminar to truckers wanting to come out from being W-2 drivers to being owner operators, or maybe owner operators want to take the next step, get their own authority and grow in the trucking business and have multiple trucks. And we get a chance to go out there and talk to people that are in the industry and learn all about there. So we can be very trusted to help you out there. But there are a lot of people that, you just see that show up and say, hey, we're going to save you money. Hey, you take advantage of these credits or these benefits, which you may not qualify for, as we were talking about the employee retention credits out there. You have unethical tax preparers out there that probably don't have the accreditation and the certification as I have as being an enrolled agent or a CPA or a tax attorney. They're very shady in what they do. They're going to guarantee you that you're going to get money back, or maybe it's one of your neighbors that's using somebody that, hey, every year, man, I get thousands of dollars back, and they're W-2 employees, and maybe they owe her with help, so maybe it's right. But now all of a sudden they have on their tax return, and people don't tell you everything on the tax return, but we've seen this, where they show up with a business that they never owned or never operated, and it shows losses. Or maybe their refunds are going to the wrong, bank account. Or they're putting in false income so that they get more money back from the earned income credit. That maybe there's not enough money earned, that your income credit's low, and they give you a business that makes a little bit of money and you get bigger reward back. You need to be able to check your return. You need to be able to look at your return. Sometimes we get in trouble here with people that we prepare returns for because we have you review your return. We want you to check your return to make sure that, one, we've got everything. See, everything that happens in your life. You should know if you've got investment accounts. You should know where else you have money coming from. We ask you to fill out an organizer. We ask you for information. We verify. We do due diligence. Sometimes we go overboard because we get held responsible sometimes for due diligence and earned income credit, for claiming your children. We ask some of the stupidest questions because the IRS requires us to. People have asked us, hey, can I claim my dog as a dependent? I always laugh. You can get a social security number for it. Maybe we can. You're not going to get a social security number for it. But maybe if you're a trucker and it's a security dog, well, it's not a dependent now. It is an expense for the business. See, there's multiple things we've got to look at and do. But it's not right for everybody's business out there. Your little Maltipoo that is just going to squeak when they bark, may not be the security dog that you think it is. But we've got to look at, the different options out there. So just randomly getting the credits or having somebody manipulate your tax return so you qualify for the earned income credits or the child tax credits, or maybe dependent credit of claiming a parent that you might be helping take care of, but maybe they have enough money coming in that they provide their own support, so you don't really qualify for that. We've got to look at all the different ways that this is going to take a look at how tax preparers manipulate your taxes to get you the refund that they are promising out there. And you don't necessarily want to be claiming those things, where they're at. One thing the IRS also warns about is fake charities, or thinking because you gave money to an individual to help them out because they were going through surgery or needed help, just because it's compassionate doesn't make it a charity. Yes, it was charitable of you to give the money to somebody, does not make it a true, charity. So don't fall into the fact that you're giving it to somebody or something or fall for pressure. There are ways to make sure that give money. GoFundMe is not a charitable contribution, but giving to your church, giving to Goodwill. And you can go online and check it. Wounded Warriors, some of these things are really good out there. And I always say, hey, make sure that you're checking the charity out and how much is going to administrative costs as opposed to going to the individuals that you are trying to help as well. As we're talking through some of these dirty dozen tax schemes out there, there are plenty more, and we're going to keep going through some of those tax schemes that the IRS has listed in their dirty dozen right after this.
We have only scratched the surface of today's show. Please stand by as Barry G. Fowler will be right back with Tax Talk for You. As an owner-operator, you already spend too much time away from your family. Stop spending time doing paperwork. Go to truckertaxtools.com, a solution built specifically for truckers. Truckertaxtools.com makes your life run smoothly. Let's get back to Tax Talk for You with more Tax Talk. Once again, here's your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome back. We got getting some good questions coming in, and some of these we'll answer through email or give you a phone call. But if you go to taxationsolutions.net, you can go on there and fill out a contact form and send us your questions. Go to Tax Talk for You, subscribe. We'll give updates out there as well. Somebody was asking, about identity theft. Identity theft is really big, and the IRS will give you, if you have identity theft, or even if you didn't have identity theft, you can actually request a PIN number, a number that we've got to put in on the tax return that identifies you, and they send you a new letter every year with that PIN number so that nobody else can file a tax return with your Social Security number on it. It's a pretty good thing to do. We have seen where we've had preparer fraud out there where somebody's preparing a return and getting your refund, and then you prepare your return, or you have a preparer do it, and they try to e-file and it comes back that it's already been filed. So we've seen that fraud go out over the years where people are getting your Social Security number and filing just to get the refund back as quick as possible. And the IRS pursues these criminals pretty aggressively if they can find them. Made some progress on this out there, but you still should be extremely cautious and do everything to avoid from being victimized. Getting that PIN number is one good way of doing it. Something else that the IRS has out there is excessive claims for business credits. Now, when we prepare returns for every business credit that you could possibly get for your business, but a lot of times we see people improperly claiming the fuel tax credit. It's a tax benefit not generally available to most taxpayers. And it's usually limited to off-highway business use, farming. For truckers, it may be running the APU, the things that are not running the engine of your truck out there. We also see the misuse of research credits, improper credits in this research is you don't substantiate or satisfy the requirements to do that. So you got to check all the boxes when you're going through there. The other thing that we see is people falsely padding deductions on your returns, whether it's, it used to be people would do it on Schedule A in charitable contributions, but with this higher standard deduction, it's not there anymore. It's in order to get there, you've got to have higher mortgage interest rates, mortgage interest that you're paying, and then property taxes, and then charitable contributions on top of that. But mostly this is going to be padding on maybe Schedule C, where you're running a small business and you're adding more expenses into your business to get those higher deductions and lower the net income, which then lowers your self-employment tax and then lowers your federal income tax as well. Overstating other business expenses, or maybe overstating new equipment purchase in your business as well, can very much add to the expenses. Now, Schedule E, rental property, you might be claiming added costs for improvements on your rental property that you didn't incur, insurance, any other expenses that you may be running on the rental property. And we've seen where people have inflated those costs to lower the net income from maybe your rental real estate as well. And as we've talked about, falsifying not just income and expenses, but you could be somebody could be going in and falsifying a business and showing, a loss from a business that you didn't run out there. Now, one of the things that we hear, hey, maybe I shouldn't be paying tax because, they didn't put it in the Constitution. The Supreme Court has validated tax laws. So using some frivolous tax arguments to avoid paying tax is another tax scam. And we hear it, people promoting, hey, I don't pay tax because of, this or that wasn't, ratified. So you got to watch out for those outlandish, claims. And, even though it's been repeatedly thrown out of court, people can still go out there and pursue these issues. And we did have a couple questions come in, and I really love it when our truckers are out there on the road and listening to us. Again, for every one of the truckers, thanks for what you do. Without you, we wouldn't have goods delivered to the stores, and we wouldn't be able to get out there and buy the things that we need to do, whether it's food, furniture, you name it. You guys do it. Without the farmers, we wouldn't have the food that we put on our table. Thank you to the farmers and ranchers that are out there and all that you do. I can empathize with both of them and the complications, because we deal a lot with truckers and trucker tax tools and helping them through their bookkeeping and taxes, even their payroll. And farmers and ranchers, I do ranching as well, raise cattle and pigs and chickens out there. And so been doing, farm and ranch taxes for a long time as well. All this adds complications to your life. So, hey, the question came in here from, let's see. I don't see a name on this, but hey, the question came in is, if I have a dog in my truck, can it be the security? Yes, it can. And we do it quite often. And we do kind of ask about what the purpose is of the dog. And, you do need to secure your truck and your property. and the expenses that go along with having that animal on your truck. No, cats are not going to be a security animal. I mean, I guess if you got a tiger, maybe that could be, but that'd be kind of dangerous. But the dogs out there, yes, you can have the dog on there, deduct the food, medical expenses, even the dog is deductible. We used to breed dogs, and in breeding dogs, you had a lot more deductibility out there for those animals that are providing a service to you, because it is the service dog there on the truck, and providing security for you and the goods that you're transporting and stuff. Okay, here's another one from Mike. Per diems. Per diems for truckers are really good. When we're doing bookkeeping at truckertaxtools.com, and if you're looking for bookkeeping services, go there and hit our contact form, and we'll reach out to you, and we custom build our bookkeeping services around you. And but per diems will work like this, and we can have a much longer conversation about it than the time we have left. But basically, the IRS is asking you to document the nights that you're on the road. So you, as of October 1st, will get $80 per night on the road, except for the first night and the last night. The first night you get half, the last night you get half, so 40 and 40. But all the nights in between, you will get $80 a night that you are away from home. Now, you got to have a tax home. You can't just live in your truck and be a roaming, or as they would call it, a tax turtle, meaning you live in your shell, which is the truck. And so you've got to have actual home that you incur expenses for. If you don't have one, rent a place so that you can take advantage of getting the per diem write-off. So you would have your choice of actual or per diems. Most cases, per diems are much higher. I've had one client that claimed that they were spending well over $100 a day in food, which means that they were either having Uber delivered to their truck at the truck stops, and ordering pretty pricey food, and 3 meals a day at $40 a meal would be $120. So claiming that deduction out there, you would have to prove that and make sure you got it. But the $80 a day, most of our truckers, sometimes they cook in their truck. Others, they will grab a bite at whatever truck stop they're at. Not the healthiest of regimes that you could go through for eating, but it is one of the things that is available to you. And life on the road is not easy at times. And being away from family is not easy at times. So we always say, hey, thank you for, what you do. Now we're running, towards the end here. If you've got a tax problem, hey, feel free to reach out to us at taxationsolutions.net. We provide tax relief to you and your family. We take the stress out of dealing with the IRS, as, whether you're going through an audit, whether you owe money to the IRS, whatever the reason is, reach out to us today. Let us step into your shoes. Let us provide the guidance to put a solution in place to solve your tax problem. So go to taxationsolutions.net. And if you're in the trucking industry, you're an owner operator out there, go to truckertaxtools.com. Let us help your life run smoothly. Let us save you money. Let us put the bookkeeping and taxes in place for you. But make sure you subscribe at taxtalkforyou.com and join us every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Look forward to talking with you next week. I'm Barry Fowler, Trucker Tax Tools, taxtalkforyou.com. Thank you.
Are you an individual or business that wants to understand taxes and how they affect you? Are you looking for specific tax advice for self-employed, business owners, and truckers? Are you behind on taxes and your bookkeeping? Are you dealing with the IRS and ready to have some relief? then you need Tax Talk for You. Hosted by tax and trucker expert Barry G. Fowler, EA. Tune in 10 a.m. Eastern Time every Monday right here on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Don't forget to check this and past episodes at taxtalkforyou.com. See you next week at W4CY.com.